Welcome to Tuesday Tips. My name is Pam Dunwald. I'm one of your nurses from Your Nurse Advocate Consulting. And this month, we've been focusing on how do you bring your siblings together to care for aging parents. I mean, you've got one sibling on one side of the country, another sibling on the other side of the country. I mean, it's difficult to bring together a group of siblings and a family to care for aging parents when things seem to be going okay. Let's throw dementia into the mix, and now we have a whole new set of stresses and concerns. So that's what we're going to talk about for a few minutes today on this Tuesday Tips is how do siblings come together to care for an aging parent when dementia is involved? So let's go ahead and get started. I've got some slides for us this evening, and I just want to say welcome. And this will be recorded. So for those of you that don't catch it live, there will be a recording and we will share that. So let's go ahead and start our presentation. Okay, here we go. So navigating sibling challenges and caregiving, caring for aging parents with dementia. So thanks. Hello to you that have joined us live. And let's go ahead and get started. So, Lynn and I are both experienced caregivers. We're both caring for aging loved ones. We've cared for many families and helped many situations when the caregivers were caring for a loved one with dementia. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, and that can be an extremely overwhelming situation. For example, those that live local to the aging parent that has dementia, their risk of burning out really fast is really high. And the reason is because when you have a loved one with dementia, that usually requires more one-on-one time with them, more checking in on them, more just a lot more work. And so when siblings don't live nearby, it's very easy for that caregiver that lives close to the parents to become, or the parent with dementia to be so overwhelmed with the caregiving responsibilities. And, it gets so bad that they don't care, that they're just very bitter, they're upset, they're angry because you can't be there. And those of you that are siblings that don't live close by, it's not your fault. And, you have your life may not, have taken you away from where your parents live. And nobody's trying to place blame on anyone, but it's very hard for that caregiving, that primary caregiver sibling to really understand that, because they're kind of at their wits' ends and they just need help. So anything that siblings can do from afar in this situation would be greatly appreciated. And sometimes it may be a financial at this point. If you're not there to help share the caregiving responsibilities, then maybe, where the siblings or the family can come together and maybe to help pay for some caregivers to come in so that caregiver can have a break, or to provide funds for a respite care where they can have a break. And or maybe, consider, as dementia, depending on the type of dementia they have. I mean, dementia can linger for a long time. Those that are suffering from Alzheimer's disease, that is usually a terminal, and not every person goes through the 7 stages, at the same time. So that final stage, as things get, more difficult, you may have to make some caregiving decisions, about extended care, nursing home, or pay in-home care, hospice. And, it would really benefit to have a conversation with your family as far as, do I need to take a family leave? Everyone has a 3-month guaranteed, and most places, unfortunately, is not paid leave unless you're with a company who does something above and beyond what the federal requirements are. But alternating your leaves, and you can take your leave. And that's one thing that people don't realize is you don't have to take 3 months all at once. You can take that 3 months and you can break it up by, a couple of weeks at a time, and rotate and give each other a break. And one of the best ways to know what's going on is really to put yourself in the shoes of the primary caregiver, either, a family member or a sibling, because that is one way of kind of making the primary caregiver feel better, because they know now, or now, what they're going through, and vice versa. So some of the things that go into the sibling dynamics, especially with dementia, is, educating the family, educating the siblings on dementia. And I just encourage all of you to get as much resources as you can. And we have tons of resources. We've got blog posts, YouTube videos. Visit any of our resources, all our social media sites. We're on everything. Check us out. We've got so many resources. And here's a scenario too. You've got the primary caregiver that has gotten things kind of under control. They're kind of got a rhythm going, and they know how to talk them down. They know how to try and avoid any behavior issues. They know how to meet their needs. And then maybe someone comes in to help and to give that primary caregiver a break, but they don't know how to handle these certain situations, and it's someone learning all over again, and it can be extremely stressful. So I encourage all of you, whether you're a primary caregiver, not in a family, get familiar with the signs and symptoms of dementia. Get familiar with how to speak, how to talk with someone with dementia. One of the things that you have to remember is we live in one reality and someone with dementia lives in another reality. And what I mean by that is that their reality is as real to them as our reality is real to us. So to try and convince them that they're mistaken or they're wrong or they're not thinking right or they forgot that this isn't so, all that's going to do is escalate some anger and possibly some behavior challenges, because right as rain, they feel that what they're thinking and how they feel and what their reality is true. And if they feel somebody's threatening them, they feel that. I mean, that's real. You can't just say, oh my, that's just your dementia. Don't worry, everything's fine. You can't tell them that, because that's not going to reassure them. What you can do in those situations always is just try and make sure that you're there to make sure that they're safe and everything is okay. So please just reassure them. And so when you start throwing all the different sibling dynamics, into this mix, and one sibling may want to say, no, you got to correct them. And one sibling says, no, you can't do that. What I'm asking all of you to do is to come together as a family, come together, make the decision that what we're going to do is what's in the best interest of mom and dad and their wishes. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about what we want. It's not about how we would handle things if we were in that situation. It's about what they want. And even, with someone with dementia, even if it's early on and they're still, in charge of their own healthcare decisions, I strongly urge you to have them meet with the estate planning attorney, get their affairs in order, get their advance directives, the healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney. The more decisions your parents make before they're in a situation where they can't make it is less for siblings to argue about. It's less things for siblings to become in conflict. And if everybody can agree that we're going to follow mom and dad's wishes, it gives you a lot less to argue about, because it's not about how each one of you want to do things. It's about how mom and dad want it. And we're all committing together as a family to get mom and dad things the way that they want it to go. So if they have all of these things in writing and documents before it happens, that's only going to make this process a little easier, because everybody's lanes and roles are clear, already defined, and it's by your parents. It's not siblings picking and choosing who's doing what. This is what your parents wanted. So that's really, really important. Some of the other considerations, with the dementia is just, you might have to safeguard the house. There may be, locks. There may be locked, put away their medications. There may be other things that need to be done. So anything, even if you're an afar sibling or family member, anything that you can do to help. Maybe you're going to order the locks. Maybe you're going to make sure or hire someone to come in and do that. Maybe you're going to help, pay for a caregiver. Maybe you're going to order food. Maybe you're going to do, whatever you can do. Again, maybe you can get on their My Chart, be in contact with their doctors, see when their appointments are, make sure that they have rides and can get to their doctor's appointments. And if they need someone to go with them, make sure that those arrangements are made. These are all kinds of things that can be done from long distance. So navigating sibling dynamics. So dementia is a cruel disease, especially Alzheimer's. And it's more important than ever when you're dealing with this situation that siblings and family members, whether it's, nieces, nephews, grandkids, that you can come together and unite to support each other during these challenges. And even if that primary caregiver is doing a lot of the in-person work, knowing that you're giving as much as you can from long distance goes a long way, because they don't feel alone, and they don't feel that they're carrying that burden of caregiving on their own. So this is a really important, this is such a difficult, uh, draining, emotionally draining illness, disease to care for an aging loved one, that it's very, very important that the siblings and the family members can really come together. I think about a family that we cared for with dementia, and they had two grandchildren in their 20s. Their mom, their daughter, had passed away early on while the kids were in grade school, and the grandparents became the guardian. Well, the grandmother developed Alzheimer's, and she was going through the stages very quickly. So now you have two 20-something year olds that are managing now the care of grandma and grandpa. And they had two other sons who lived an hour and a half away, not really in touch. And so when we got involved, we actually, reached out to those sons, because the family dynamics were of such that the family wasn't in close contact with each other. Those two grandkids didn't have much contact with their uncles or their cousins. And so that was one of the things that we ended up having to do is, we tried to mediate and bring that family together and reach out to the sons. The sons had no idea that the forgetfulness and things had gotten so bad, and things were, in the shape that they were. So the sons started taking turns coming up and spending a few days with the granddaughter was in nursing school. It was just a lot, but by bringing the family together, and you know what, and after all was said and done, the family was able to pull themselves together, support each other, not without challenges and not without bumps, but so much so that they were unified, when it came to the parents and the grandparents. And after, they both passed away within just a few months of each other. And then after that, they've kind of gone their separate ways again. So I'm not saying that every family is perfect, but what I'm saying is this is the time to really, put your differences, put your feelings aside, and really come together for the good of your aging parents. One of the other things we talked about resources. The ADRC, Aging and Disability Resource Center in Wisconsin, that's what they're called. It's the county government aging or government agency on aging. Every state in the U.S. has one. Every county has one. If you're unsure, ask a social worker at the clinic. Contact the health department in your county. They will tell you, what the name of your aging agency is called. This is a go-to place. This is our first resource we share with everyone. Reach out to this county agency. They have a list of resources in your area, in your local county. So whether it's dementia, Alzheimer's support groups, whether it's what are the caregiving agencies in your area, who can we reach out for support, what are my resources? That is a one-stop shop for you to get all of that information in your area. And they are the best at knowing what's available. And even you can go online. You can go online to these aging centers. Like right now, I can go to the Aging and Disability Resource Center in Monroe County, Wisconsin, where I live, and I could pull up the whole brochure, the whole booklet online with all the resources. So it's very accessible, even for those that are long distance. So get familiar with your resources. Don't feel you have to go this alone. This is another example where a nurse advocate such as ourselves can come alongside you, help you put a plan in place, assess what the needs are, determine what resources you need, and help you pull those together. So communication is key. And one of the things is we are tomorrow we start our webinars, our free webinars on the siblings guide, bringing siblings together to care for aging parents. And that is a precursor to a course that we're going to have that will be opening up soon. And this is a masterclass. We're going to give you a lot of tools. We're going to give you some templates and a lot of tools that you can use to bring your family together And so I encourage you to check into that. We're going to have a few of those, and then later on we will also have information on the course that's available. And communication is one of the key issues, whether it's, if you have weekly, especially with dementia, things can change quickly. Only you can decide whether monthly, every 2 weeks, once a month, whether you're doing Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, texting, whatever your method is, make sure that you're communicating everything with everybody, because things can change quickly. So no, people can help better if they know what's going on and they feel a part of the situation when they're made aware. Have a family meeting. We've got templates and agendas for having a family meeting. How do you run one? What do you say? What are the questions? How do you build in, the who's going to do what? We have guides and templates for you for that as well. Understanding individual perspectives is crucial. I mean, again, two siblings may handle a situation differently, and that's where conflict can arise. But again, if you bring it back and you know help your parents pursue getting all their affairs in order, that takes the decision making out of our own perspective and just realizes, okay, we may not agree with this, but this is what mom and dad wants. So this is what we're going to do. And we can all agree on it because it's what mom and dad want. So understanding that people might have differences of opinion, but everybody at least coming to the consensus that you can agree to care for, your parents by their wishes, that will go a long way to reduce or calm down any conflicts. And worst case scenario, seek professional help. If you need help with conflict resolution, there are counselors, there are nurse advocates such as ourselves that mediate. Sometimes you need that third party to come in, because let's face it, and I mentioned this before last week on Tuesday Tips, we don't have any credibility with our siblings. Our siblings have seen us at our best, our siblings have seen us at our worst, and we're nobody special to our siblings. And so I may say one thing the same, I may repeat something that the sibling said, but now because I'm an outsider, I'm the nurse advocate, they may, say, take my advice, when one of the siblings may have said the same thing. And it's just that whole sibling dynamics, where you are in the birth order, what was your relationship, growing up as kids, are you the oldest? Are you the middle? Are you the youngest? I mean, all of those things play a role in how you come together to care for your aging parents. And so please don't hesitate to seek out professional help. And again, we talked about regular family meetings and to coordinate the support. So with that being said, those are just some of the challenges that we talk about that can be involved in when you're caring for a loved one with dementia. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up this Tuesday Tips, and we hope to see you back here next time. And thank you for the thumbs up. I see we have, and I appreciate that very, very much. Andika, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next week at another Tuesday Tips. Take care.